Welcome to NETTDay. This is number 14, I believe. My name is Mike Bedell. I'm Dean of the College of Business and Technology. NET, of course, stands for Northeastern Empowerment Through Technology. And day is about today. So welcome to NETTDay. We hope we have an intriguing program for you, something that's forward-looking and thoughtful and grabs the leading edge. And so that's really the purpose. I want to thank the various faculty that have been involved in this, in putting this together. There's a faculty committee, Dave Jordan, who you met, Tunku, who's over here, Ahmed Khalid in the back, and some others that I'm missing at this point. But again, thank those faculty for putting this together. I hope you guys have a great day, and it's thoughtful, and do not hesitate to talk to these folks. Ask questions during, ask questions after. That's how you're going to learn. So thanks for being here. Have a great day. So
we're very fortunate to have one of our own come here to give a presentation. And we're going to be talking about artificial intelligence in higher education. And without any further ado, I'm going to bring up Eliot Rodriguez up to the stage to give his presentation.
Hello, NEIU. How is everyone doing today? You all can give me a second to get situated here. Okay. Can you help me? A presentation outline on artificial intelligence so that I can present it. Please. And make it interesting. Okay, good. Almost ready. So I guess I can cut that piece out, make some changes. Oh, that piece needs a little bit of research before I talk about that. All right, I'm ready to go. You guys ready? How many of you guys have used ChatGPT? All right, good, excellent. You guys are my people. That's good. Let me get my students back. Oh, just kidding. Nobody here uses ChatGPT. So my name is Eliot Rodriguez. I'm the Chief Information Officer of Northeastern Illinois University. I work with a dedicated and passionate team of technology working professionals. Are there any emerging future technology professionals in here? All right, sounds good. Cool. So on a side note, I just want to say that if any of you are interested in maybe getting a student job with UTS, we have a bunch of posts for job opportunities. You guys should definitely check them out and consider joining us on the efforts. All right, so for the next maybe 40 minutes, I don't feel I'm going to talk that long, but we'll see. I want you all to take off whatever hat you're wearing, whether you are a student, a faculty, staff. You are now all CIOs. And I want to bring you all into my world so that you guys kind of get a gist as for how technologies get implemented at an institution from a CIO. In particular, artificial intelligence. We're going to be talking about challenges that are involved in implementing, as well as the cool things that you can do. I'm going to give you guys some case studies of things that some other institutions have done that's pretty interesting. All right. So first things first, artificial intelligence. It is the ability of digital computers or computer-controlled robots to perform tasks commonly associated with intelligent beings, right? Plain and simple. So with that said, how many of you believe that artificial intelligence is a new technology? How many of you believe it's an old technology? All right, cool. So it is an old technology. It's been around for decades. For those of you who are not clear on how the history of it works, I'm just going to play a very brief video that's going to run through the last 5-6 decades of artificial intelligence and how it has progressed.
While everyone seems to be talking about artificial intelligence these days, it's good to remember that this is not something new. In 1950, Alan Turing proposed the Turing test. That same year, Isaac Asimov proposed the 3 laws of robotics. In 1951, the first AI-based program was written. In 1955, the first self-learning game-playing program was created. In 1959, the MIT AI Lab is set up. In 1961, the first robot is introduced into GM's assembly line. 1964 saw the first demo of an AI program which understands natural language. In 1965, the first chatbot, Eliza, was invented. In 1974, the first autonomous vehicle is created at Stanford AI Lab. In 1989, Carnegie Mellon creates the first autonomous vehicle using a neural network. In 1997, IBM Deep Blue beats Garry Kasparov at chess. In 1999, Sony introduces Aibo. That same year, the MIT AI Lab's first emotional AI is demonstrated. In 2004, DARPA introduces the first autonomous vehicle challenge. In 2009, Google starts building a self-driving car. In 2010, Narrative Science's AI demonstrates the ability to write reports. In 2011, IBM Watson beats Jeopardy champions. That same year, Siri, Google Now, and Cortana become mainstream. In 2015, Elon Musk and others announce a $1 billion donation to OpenAI. In 2016, Google's DeepMind defeats Korean AlphaGo champion. In 2016, Stanford issues the AI 100 report. In 2016, UC Berkeley launches the Center for Human Compatible Artificial Intelligence. As you can see, AI is not new. But the advances we are making are progressing at an exponential pace, leveraging our ever faster computing power, the explosion of digital data, and the speed of communication infrastructure. In some ways, the commercialization era of AI has just begun, and it will profoundly affect our world as we know it. Similarly, or possibly more profoundly, than the way the internet and mobile phones have done so before. Don't miss the next AI breakthroughs, and subscribe to the weekly Applied Artificial Intelligence Digest newsletter at bootstraplabs.com.
So that's not my voice, that is bootstrapslab.com, who made that video. But it sounds pretty good so far, right? Artificial intelligence, amazing. It's going to do great things. It's going to make everything awesome. But remember that the road to hell is always paved with good intentions. So as CIOs, you are going to have to take an ethical back step as to how to properly implement artificial intelligence. Yeah, it is a great tool. It is great technology, and you can do amazing things with it. But there are a lot of ethical considerations that we'll be reviewing in just a second. But before we do, I just want to talk about some of the modalities of artificial intelligence. Obviously, this is going to be a growing list, but the main two that are on here are machine learning and deep learning. Those are the ones that have been driving all artificial intelligence for decades. Machine learning is using the computer processing unit. It is a more serial method of artificial intelligence, and it gives us the ability to program computers to do automated things or to do predictive analytics. And we'll talk in a second about what all that mumbo jumbo means. Deep learning, on the other hand, uses the GPU graphics processing unit card, which was originally used to assist CPU in graphic visualization on your computer monitors. But at the same time, it was discovered that it had other uses. In this case, artificial intelligence, which we'll talk about in just a second. So going back to machine learning, a prime example of machine learning, I would say is Amazon. They were probably one of the loudest first people to use machine learning. And what they did was they used predictive modeling and analytics through machine learning so that they could capture your interests and your preferences. So that when you go to Google and you look up, I don't know, brown boxes, or brown is my favorite color, tell me things with brown, all of a sudden everything on Amazon.com that is getting populated is brown, and it's showing you based off that preference, so on and so forth. Or if you're purchasing stuff on Amazon, or if you're on Netflix and you have a particular interest in movies, all of a sudden you saw maybe 2 or 3 comedy films. Next thing you know, everything that's populating on Netflix is comedy films or TV shows. So that's kind of what machine learning does. I'm going through the different modalities because then we're going to take a look at how this all applies to higher education. So that's the goal. Deep learning uses GPU. So the concept here is to try to model the network pathways of a human mind and the way that a human mind thinks. A human mind does not think one thing at a time. It thinks multiple things at the same time. We are constantly processing the smell. Right now, I can smell the room. I can observe you all. I can see your body language. I can hear the person eating the chips in the back. And I'm taking in all those senses at the same time and processing it and then outputting immediately to you all. So GPU works very similarly in that respect. A great example of deep learning is autonomous vehicles. How many of us in here drive Teslas? How many of us drive Teslas in 30 years? Okay. Well, it might be obsolete by then, but we'll find out what happens there. I don't drive a Tesla. So when we're dealing with a Tesla, and we put it on auto drive, which I probably will never do, that thing is going to sense visual imagery, what's coming up, what's behind me. It's going to also sense the acceleration of the car. It's going to sense all kinds of information about the car so that it can maneuver and drive itself, right? So that would be an example of how deep learning gets applied. Now, from these two methods for artificial intelligence, there's been a sprout of multiple other methods, namely speech recognition, which you all are familiar with. We've all called call centers for billing, and we've had to all request for a representative 10 billion times, and we still don't get the representative, and the phone hangs up on us. We have Alexa at home. We have Siri to help us with our weather, with playing music, and with our purchases, maybe for some of you. We have another modality, which is virtual representation. So this is a fancy word for chatbots, and chatbots have continually been developed in different capacities to assist and perform in different ways, which we'll see in a few moments in regards to higher education. Natural language generation, which is probably one of the more exciting artificial intelligence technologies that is ongoing nowadays. ChatGPT, which just exploded this past year, winning chess tournaments and causing all kinds of faculty to become very concerned with student cheating. So we will talk a little bit about that piece as well. Decision management. So this applies to many industries in regards to being able to do. Does anybody know what a Carly Monto, thank you, a Monte Carlo simulation. Anybody ever done one of those? Okay. So artificial intelligence can run thousands of those at the same time within milliseconds. And that's very important for stock market exchanges, for gas prices, for airline ticketing. I'm not sure if many of you fly here, but I definitely recommend, it's called momondo.com. It is a website that does airline ticketing, and they use a lot of predictive analytics to get you the best price. So biometrics, this is an older one that is used to capture through visual representation, different aspects for recognition. Obviously, iPhone facial recognition is an easy example to connect to. So all these things have a lot of implications as to how it's going to translate into perhaps the higher education world. For example, we're not going to need to type things anymore in the future because now we can speak things and have them typed. We're not going to need to click and drag with a mouse because now we can draw shapes and they can become precise on a tablet, for example. So on and so forth with the different examples that are on this chart. Towards the end of the presentation, I want to, in particular, do a quick product demo on multimedia and what that looks like. It says here that multimedia becomes something where you suggest and recommend instead. So do I have any graphic design visual artists in here? Okay, good. So I'm not going to offend anybody today. So on and so forth. Artificial intelligence continues to branch out into all kinds of different modalities and capabilities that people continue to use, not to use, but to discover. So before we go into, now that we have a clear understanding of different modalities in artificial intelligence, before we talk about higher education, I just want to make sure that we review some ethical guidelines and principles that we need to go by as CIOs. So the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, also known as UNESCO, they have worked with professionals across the globe to determine what ethical boundaries are required to ensure that artificial intelligence is used to complement our existence and not to undermine it. So with that said, the very first one is probably the one that many people think about. How many of you guys have seen Terminator? Okay, good. So I'm not that old. Can anyone tell me what the problem was with Terminator? Where did they fail specifically in creating that artificial intelligence? The main flaw in the artificial intelligence in that movie is that they did not give the artificial intelligence a limit. It was unlimited potential for goals. So one thing that UNESCO is requiring is that if you are building a artificial intelligent tool, it must have an end goal. It cannot just run forever and do whatever it wants. And you cannot program it to harm people. Okay. They're also recommending safety and security. For developers that are working with artificial intelligence, are you making sure that your program is not going to cause some sort of breach or some sort of access for hackers to be able to undermine organizations? The right to privacy and data protection. So as users, we have the right to our privacy. If our information is being disclosed through an artificial intelligent robot, we got to make sure that that information is not going to get breached or that it's not going to be shared or disclosed with anyone. Is anyone in here British? Okay, good. Multi-stakeholder and adaptive governance collaboration. So this goes two ways. It goes to the developer group and it goes to the organizations that use artificial intelligence. Basically, it's saying when decisions are being made, the people in the room, they need to be diverse. They need to represent a diverse body of people, because artificial intelligence has the capacity to be biased. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as we go. Next is responsibility and accountability. So if you're a developer, you got to make sure that yes, it's great that your tool can make incredible things, but can you audit that tool? Can you track who did what on that tool in case we need to backtrack and verify? Same thing is true for organizations. Organizations, they need to be able to trace and track any actions that are taken with an artificial intelligence tool, and to ensure that it doesn't undermine the global environment. Transparency and explainability. If you're an organization that's going to use an artificial intelligence tool, your users, they need to know exactly what that tool does, how it works, and what they can expect from it. You can't just implement a tool and good luck to the organization. This one in particular is probably the one that's loudest to me, and it's the one that I think about all the time. As a CIO, a lot of people are fearful that artificial intelligence has the potential to not only take over, but to take our jobs. So what UNESCO says about this is that we have to make sure that when we are employing tools like this, that we're employing them to augment us, not to replace us. It's unethical for you to replace an entire workforce because you figure out how one robot can do everything. Any objections to that? Okay, good. You guys are going to be great leaders one day. Or you guys are great leaders because you're all CIOs. Sustainability. So who gets to use this technology that's getting rolled out? Is it only going to be for the elite rich people, or is it going to be for everybody on this planet? How does it become sustainable? How does it become accessible to everyone? Awareness and literacy. So being able to use this technology is the same as learning to read and write. Everyone deserves to learn this technology. So we need to create opportunities for people to be able to take in information on how to use this so that they can live in the modern world with artificial intelligence. Does anybody think that we can turn the... anybody in here believe that we can maybe close the floodgate with artificial intelligence? How? Perhaps. Stay tuned. We're going to find out. What's up? That's a good point. So one thing that I'll say there is I believe that, well, actually, I'll hold that thought because I'm going to show you guys how I believe this technology is actually beneficial from a financial standpoint without having to reduce the workforce, because I'm against that. And I think everybody in this room is also against that. Okay. So first, let's talk about what AI can do for students. It can help with virtual assistants. It can help with learning and guidance tools. So I think the slides are out of order, but does anybody in here have on call a 24/7 tutor that they can call at any point? Okay, so this is something that AI can assist with. There are universities already in existence that have 24/7, 365 virtual tutors who can tutor you on not only what your questions are, but can see what your questions are, see what your assignments, your grading is looking like, determine what is it that you don't understand, rearrange the tutoring session so that it matches what you need for you to be able to succeed in your class. Time management and study. Does anybody have any personal assistant that helps them with time management? I know I don't. So getting notifications, hey, this assignment is due yesterday. This test is coming up next week. I recommend that you study X, Y, and Z in the next few days so that you're on track. By the way, do you want to take this test quiz just to see how you're doing before you actually go in for the test? Mental health support. Has anybody in here used Timely MD? So that's a new tool that we have implemented here in the university for you all. There's a virtual assistant on that tool that helps with mental health in addition to actual people in there. In regards to student learning, so I touched upon some of them already, the virtual assistant, personalized learning and content recommendation. So everyone learns differently. When you go into a classroom, the way that you study is going to be different from the next person next to you. This is something, again, that artificial intelligence can assist with because it can home in onto how you in particular study and what goals and needs you have so that you're able to be successful. Through predictive analytics, for example. There's also accessibility tools for those who have disabilities that can be utilized. Virtual lab simulations, so that we don't have to purchase cadavers. Instead, we could just run virtual simulations instead on something, for example. In 1984, the year I was born, the best year ever, Benjamin Bloom, he was with the University of Chicago and with Northwestern University, and he came out with a study that shows that people who get tutoring in higher education, one-on-one tutoring, do a lot better than the rest of the people. So this is a study that is, I think you can find it on every single higher education artificial intelligence presentation out there, because this is one of the main things that pushes forward the need for virtual assistants to help with tutoring for every single person. So one example is Staffordshire University. They have implemented a virtual assistant to their student body. The student body is able to ask all types of questions, whether it's questions related to class material, or whether it has to do with the university experience that they are participating in. But more valuable to the university and to the faculty is that they get back the information from the interactions that the students are making on this. So what types of questions are students asking in your classroom? Is there a pattern to the questions? Is this something that now you can home in on as a faculty member and rearrange as needed so that you can teach in your class the things that your students really don't understand, push back the things that they do understand? Another example is Florida International University. So they, in particular, what they have done is they have attached this technology called Data Robot to their LMS. Students do assignments, do grading, do testing on their learning management system. And this technology, in turn, takes the grades, takes the progress the students are making. If the students are not doing well, it starts alerting the student, hey, do you need tutoring? Do you need to come in for advising? Do we need to take you out of this class? Do you need to speak with your professor? So basically, it's a virtual assistant that's paying attention to how you're doing in your coursework and trying to keep you on track. Other universities, such as, Penn State, University of Florida, Texas, they are homing in on artificial intelligence through the use of virtual labs to be able to conduct all kinds of virtual environment simulations. This company in particular hones in on business simulations. So career guidance and plagiarism detection. So this is important also for you guys as a student eventually, because what you turn in, you want to make sure that it is not perceived as plagiarism. So being able to have those tools in place that can read through whatever it is you're submitting to make sure that you're good to go. On the faculty side, one of the things that happens with faculty is that a lot of their time gets taken up. I myself taught previously at an institution, so I do relate to this information as well. Where a faculty is spending a lot of time in evaluation, in administration, in that's detracting them from being able 50 hours a week just to be able to get their work done that is outside of the classroom environment. Artificial intelligence is able to automate a lot of the redundancies that faculty have to experience, and in turn giving that time back to the faculty members so they're instead able to focus on classroom instruction, which is most important, and how do they connect with students on the information that they need. So some of the artificial intelligence redundancies that can assist faculty are things like basic course material generation, content generation based on what a classroom as a whole is doing well on or is not doing well on, and capturing student analytics to determine best approach with students. There's automated grading systems. There's no reason why faculty have to spend hours grading an exam when a robot can grade it for them, give them insights and perspective on how the students are doing in that grading process. And a faculty can easily verify whether or not there is plagiarism occurring through artificial intelligence. They can also hone in on artificial intelligence to do predictive analytics, research, and experimentation, simulation, so on, the same way that students can. So this is one example of what a faculty gets through this service is used through different textbook press companies. I'm not sure if any faculty here at NEIU use this technology, but I know Macmillan offers this service where it ties into the LMS and it gives faculty predictive analytics for students, and then it goes back and tells them based on that information, textbook information or approaches that they can consider taking if they need. How are the students doing? So on and so forth. So in regards to administration, in administration, there's a lot of potential when it comes to admissions and enrollment tools. I in particular have experience with this that I'm going to share with you guys in a moment. There's a lot of redundant work that happens in administration, and it doesn't mean that staff is not important. Staff is critical, and I believe that every person has the potential to bring about great things to any organization. But can you get rid of redundancies, things that are plaguing people day in, day out, that are redundant tasks that really don't need to be done, so that then those people can focus instead on higher level, more specialized, critical thinking, advanced methodologies to bring about improvement in every way possible in their organizations. So a lot of that can happen at an university, and a lot of universities are implementing artificial intelligence tools that take into account application screening, tying in virtual assistants at every step of the student journey. When a student is applying, make sure to personalize it so that it's personalized for the student based on what they are interested in learning, versus the student now has to dig through everything and figure out what the proper roadmap or process is. Virtual campus tours, so on and so forth. Georgia State, for example, they have a virtual assistant already right at the beginning when you go to their website and you're interested in potentially joining the university. You can already begin asking questions. Of course, it's going to collect your name, your number, your email, because then it's going to start bombarding you with all kinds of information. It's going to try and keep you engaged with them. But imagine a university that has 800,000 students and a staff of 4 or 5 recruiters. All their time gets taken up by phone calls day in, day out. They don't even have enough time anymore at that point to strategize, to focus on other techniques and tools and methods, which is why artificial intelligence can help in that capacity. I worked in Miami-Dade College previously. I was a CIO out there as well. And we implemented artificial intelligence to assist the different administrative departments with the student journey. The student journey being admissions enrollment, student life resources, course enrollment, course completion, graduation, and being an alumni. And what we did over there is we implemented the Salesforce CRM. They have an artificial intelligence tool that's known as Pathways. Pathways is a virtual assistant that ties into different LMS systems. And what it does is, from beginning to end, it is engaging the student in different capacities. So in the beginning, it's engaging the student in inviting them to open houses and giving them information about the university, costs involved, tying in advisors to the students based on how much they are engaging with the virtual assistant. Once the student is part of the university, making sure that the student is aware of all of the ongoing events and resources that are available to the student through notifications, so on and so forth. Assisting the student with course enrollment. Yes, advisors do this, but students may have many questions involved that are redundant because many students ask the same thing over and over that a virtual assistant can assist with. That frees up the advisor time then to be able to focus on more complex concepts with you when they're speaking with you in an advising session. When you are taking your courses, that information is getting piped from the LMS to the virtual assistant. It's giving the virtual assistant information on how you're doing in the course or how you're not doing in the course, and taking actions, contacting your advisor, contacting your professor, letting your professor know you're not doing well, checking in with you. Are you going to class? Why are you not going to class? What's going on? Early warning notifications. And then finally, course completion, graduation, and you become an alumni. And at that point, continue to engage with you as an alumni with the university. So AI importance. The Bureau of Labor Statistics is saying that overall employment in computer information technology is expected to grow exponentially, with over 377K jobs opening every year between 2022 and 2032. So you can expect that most likely there's going to be a lot of AI potential in careers. The U.S. Department of Education is already publishing, as of last year, that a lot of the publications coming out from universities are increasingly becoming publications that are more referencing technologies involved with artificial intelligence in specific. And there is a slew of ongoing careers that you can take in artificial intelligence that is going to continue to grow. So whereas some people say it's going to take away jobs, other people say it's going to create a massive wave of new jobs that have never had to exist before. For example, artificial intelligence does not know what emotions and sentiment is. It's going to need somebody to decipher and to analyze. Oh, this is my 40-minute mark. The information that it's getting. Content generation. Yeah, you can get on ChatGPT now and you can ask it to write your next class essay, but that's going to get old quick because the information is going to be redundant. It's going to be the same. So we're going to need content writers to continue to find new and innovative ways to create content outside of the norm. If anything, it's going to challenge a lot of content creators to become even more innovative. We talked about ethics earlier. We need people in AI security, in AI ethics that are going to keep track of all these things. People that are going to program, people who are going to focus on how predictive analytics tools works, people who are going to teach AI, people who are going to use AI in new businesses and entrepreneurship. So there's a lot of potential out there. I have spoken a lot, and I do apologize to everyone. But before I go, I think I definitely want to take some Q&A and maybe do a brief demo on AI, if that's all right with everyone. So one thing I'm thinking about is showing an example of how it can be used to generate multimedia. Has anybody used InVideo before? Okay, so here's the game. I'm going to ask a couple of questions. I just need some help if you guys can spit out some information. All right, so we're going to create a short film about a superhero. Who has what superpower? You can blurt it out, doesn't matter. Could be anything. Okay, who has X-ray vision superpowers? The hero encounters super creative, a villain. The villain does what? Spit it out. Could be anything. What's up? Okay, the villain is able to turn into a lizard. And do what? And create blizzards because it rhymes. The superhero is then the superhero I don't know, wins? What? Struggles to stop the villain from creating blizzards and succeeds. Okay. So I guess in a moment we're going to have a video that we're going to get to watch. Let's see what happens here. So while this thing is happening, one thing I want to say about this is I think it's going to take a very long time for AI to be able to generate a video that is actually pretty freaking cool. If anything, what this thing will generate is some sort of prototype. But this type of technology is very helpful to people who are not creative in any capacity, but have to present to someone or in their classroom a concept. It's becoming more and more challenging in this day and age to just show a PowerPoint with a bunch of text in it, especially with the newer generations who demand real-time, on-demand content, graphics, multimedia. So we're going to have to continue to become multimedia oriented in the way that we communicate on things. And this is a tool that can be used to leverage something like that. Or let's say if you were a creative and you just needed to spitball something really quick that you can begin to work on, this could be used as a wireframe to launch you into the complex, creative graphic design, multimedia work that actually needs to take place. What does it say? Let's go with, it's going to be epic. All right, so it's creating that piece. Let me just make sure I didn't have anything else to talk about. Okay, so while it's creating it, the only other thing I had to talk about was conclusions. Am I for AI or against it? I'm kind of neutral. And I think that you guys as CIOs should also be neutral, because we need to be able to see the potential of any new tool that comes into existence, whether or not we can utilize it for the greater good of humans, right? Like Spider-Man says, with great power comes great responsibility. And that will be true for AI as well. So hopefully I've given you guys a taste without boring you guys too much on artificial intelligence in higher education. And when this video populates, we'll watch it. But in the meantime, if anybody has any questions or wants to bring up any talking points, I'm ready to rock and roll. Yeah.
Well, adding human character.
It's actually interesting that you're asking that, because there's a lot of ongoing studies about that, especially in robotics, on how to generate facial emotions in robots. But the question will be, will AI ever truly be emotional and understand what sentiment is? That I'm not sure about. So,
I'm just admitting.
oh, that's happening already. All right, so let's see what happened.
Have you ever pondered the possibility of possessing X-ray vision? Imagine being able to see through walls, to discern the hidden and the unseen. This isn't a fantasy for our protagonist, but a reality. A reality that is both a gift and a burden. Meet our superhero, the Visionary, a being blessed with the power to see beyond the ordinary, to detect the invisible and to uncover the concealed. This is the tale of the Visionary's encounter with the chilling antagonist, the Blizzard Lizard, a villain with the ability to transform into a lizard at will and summon blizzards, bringing cities to their knees under the biting cold and frost. The Visionary's X-ray vision, while powerful, is challenged by the Blizzard Lizard's icy storms. The swirling snowflakes and the freezing fog obstruct his sight, rendering his extraordinary power almost useless. The Blizzard Lizard wreaks havoc, turning summer into winter, day into night, thriving cities into frozen ghost towns. But the Visionary is not one to surrender. He battles, he perseveres. He struggles to penetrate the blizzards with his X-ray vision, to locate the Blizzard Lizard amidst the chaos. The fight is grueling, the conditions harsh. The Visionary's strength wanes, his sight blurs, but his will remains unbroken. In the end, the Visionary triumphs. He manages to see through the blizzard, to locate the Blizzard Lizard. He confronts the villain, disarms him, and restores the city, bringing back the warmth and life that was stolen. The victory is sweet, but not without its lessons. The Visionary learns that even the greatest powers can be challenged, that every strength has its weakness. But he also learns that it's not the power that defines a hero, but the courage to persist, to fight, to never give up. This tale of the visionary and the blizzard lizard is a testament to the power of resilience, of determination, and of the indomitable spirit of a hero. A reminder that even in the face of adversity, the will to fight can triumph over the most formidable foes.
So there you go. The blizzard lizard became her friend. Only took 30 seconds though. What happens if you take it seriously? You take an hour to really describe things. Is the video still as bad as this was? I don't know. But so do you guys have any questions or what? You guys are good? Okay, well, thank you all for your time. I greatly appreciate it. Have a good day. And apply to the UTS jobs. We need students.